Welcome back to Final Fantasy V, Asuna for Corona. This is one of the more infamous battles of this game. This is Gilgamesh on the bridge. It's got an awesome soundtrack, of course, which doesn't change during the boss fight, and then Gilgamesh always with his usual tricks. Lots of status ailments and a few other kind of tricksy things. We are going to start a little bit on the safe side here, getting armor on everybody, so protect on everybody. Luckily, we all have access to it. Everybody's got access to red level 3. So at this part of the game, Red Mage kind of reaches their pinnacle of their utility. After this, the Red Mage really starts to flounder a lot. But right now is when your Red Mages are going to be really doing a lot of hard work because we have access to everybody you can see can put the top level white and the top level black magic that we have access to use here. So all of these physical attacks are going to be chopped in half. Now we're going to start going on the offensive. After he takes 4,000 damage, we need to have him muted because he's going to do a form shift into a much more threatening form, and he's going to cast some buff spells on himself. So after about 4,000 is when we need to do that. So right now he's got about 400. I'm going to keep a mental tally here. About 400 damage is on him so far. Let's keep that going. Okay, let's make it 6. I'm going to be mostly counting as we go on here. That's about 9. You saw the Bard put on that. That's going to be about so about 13. So right now we're all in regen status. So we're at 13. When we get to 40, that's when we need to have him muted. 13. So let's call that 15. I do a pretty general estimate. So that's about 18. Sometimes I round up, sometimes I round down. Okay, so we're about halfway there, about 21. And we need to cast Mute shortly before we cross over 4,000. So 2,100 right now. Let's make that 26. Let's round that one down, make it 28. Let's round that one up, make it 31. So one more round of attacks, and then we'll start casting Mute on him. In fact, I may hit him with Mute. Oh, nope, I was one too late. I was one little bit off. I was a little bit off. So as it is now, we have some problems now. We've got some problems now. So normally you can block all of that from happening. It's still not too bad. He has 2,500 left. I must have been just slightly off on my count right there. But he's got some buffs on himself, and he's also hasted. So it's going to be causing some problems. Kind of sad, but it's not the end of the world. So you can see how being too aggressive can really cost you in this fight. But we're still okay. I haven't had to use any of the drinks for my chemist. That's something I could do if I really got into trouble, is I could use a haste drink or something on the chemist. But so far, it's not been too bad. We're doing okay. He does have Shell on, which is kind of annoying because our spells are doing so little damage, as you can see. They're all getting chopped up. And I don't have access yet to the debuffs that the White Mage will get later, to the dispels. And I can always break a rod, too. If I need to break the Thunder Rod here, I could always break that. But again, those are if I get into some more serious trouble than this. I'll do a few more rounds of casting like this. The jump attack is really the nasty one, but that's getting chopped in half as well by our own Protect. So I guess I'm showing you how you can do this with sheer tankitude. Because if you put Mute on him just before that form shift, then all those spells will fail. All of his buffs. He'll still do the jump attack, so he'll still be on his dangerous side. But he won't have Protect, Shell, or Haste on him. So your final plight through his routine won't be quite so damaging or dangerous. I'm using Bolt here too because I just it has a animation that I think is a little bit shorter that I like a little bit better. Okay, so you can see how he's getting a few attacks popping off there in quick succession. He's just a pretty dangerous enemy in this form. This Cure 2 will take care of everything, though. And then Regen is pretty slow, but it'll really help on some of his stuff, especially like his Electric Shock that's doing like 40 or 50 damage. And his physical attacks, his non-jump physical attacks. His jump actually is calculated more like a spell, by the way. The jump attack that he does is like a spell in the game. It uses his physical multipliers and things, or it uses some physical damage parts, but it works more like a spell. You can look it up in the Final Fantasy V Algorithms Guide. So it's a little embarrassing to put this one up, but I do want to have access to this as part of a video series. It's embarrassing that I missed the hit point count just a little bit. It must have been just a slight error in my rounding. I was a little bit aggressive. Because Mute will stick around for a couple of rounds on Gilgamesh. I just wanted to be as close as I could get it, because Mute can expire without you seeing it expiring. And there he does go away. So Mute can expire if you're not really careful. So sometimes you can try to keep Mute on him all the time, but that can run you into trouble. So anyway, that is Gilgamesh here on the bridge. If you want to look to see how you can help the Isuna for Corona support Doctors Without Borders USA, you can check that out in the description below this video if you're watching this in the spring or summer of 2020. Stay safe out there, everybody, and we will see you next time.